Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tim Coet here, behind the mic once again on First Class Radio. Well, it is a new day here in Milford and a new frame of mind here for Post 59. They've had plenty of time to get their minds right after their last game. 3 days since the last time Post 59 was in action. That came all the way back on Saturday afternoon, a game in Northbridge against Post 343. Always a tough place to play for Milford, and unfortunately it was once again. We're now officially a third of the way through this 2015 regular season. Milford currently resides in 11th place out of the 13 teams in Zone 4, so outside of the playoff picture, but not by much, just 2 games out of a playoff spot heading into action tonight, so it is still very close in the middle of those Zone 4 standings. A chance for Milford to make a move up those standings, and they hope that move starts here tonight. It is Milford taking on Sturbridge Post 109, the second time these two teams have met up on the season. Of course, last meeting in game number 1 on the season in Sturbridge, that was a 5-3 loss for Milford, so they look to avenge that and even the season series against Sturbridge tonight. So stay tuned to coverage of Milford Legion Baseball here on First Class Radio. Getting you set for Milford taking on Sturbridge Post 109. First pitch just 5 minutes away. Before we get to that first pitch, we want to bring you the starting lineups for tonight's game. Starting with the visiting lineup, that is Sturbridge Post 109. Leading off is the shortstop Mark Barton. The left fielder Edwin DeLeon bats second. Batting third is the center fielder Brady Ravenel, with Ian Weatherby, the third baseman, batting cleanup. Jack Sullivan plays first base and bats fifth. Batting sixth is the right fielder Cody Murphy. Matt Dowling catches and bats seventh, with Andy Berg in as the designated hitter, batting eighth. And batting ninth is the second baseman Dean Morin. And for Milford Post 59, their starting lineup looks like this. Matt DeCina leads it off once again at shortstop, with Brian Espinette back in the starting lineup, batting second and playing second. Andrew McMillan bats third and plays third base, with Kevin Valentine in as tonight's starting pitcher, batting fourth. Kyle Nocera plays left field tonight and bats fifth, with Blake Hill in as the right fielder, batting sixth. Tyler Monahan catches and bats seventh, with Mike Caffarella in at first base, batting eighth. And in the ninth spot is the center fielder, Kevin Lynch. And your pitching matchup in this one, Kevin Valentine making his debut on the mound for Post 59. He will be opposed on the Sturbridge side by Nate Healy.
Now batting, number 17, Mark Barton.
And it is a very comfortable 79 degrees here in Milford. Comfortable for the fans, comfortable for the players, a good turnout here at the ballpark, and we are set for baseball now as the leadoff batter for Sturbridge, Mark Barton, steps in on the left side to face Kevin Valentine, making his first start on the mound for Milford. Into his windup here is the first pitch, and it's a line drive back up the middle. That's going to scoot through for a base hit. Shot right past the glove of the pitcher, under the glove of DeCina at short, and one pitch, and Barton leads off this ball game with a single. The second look of the season at Sturbridge Post 109. They played very well back on the season opener. That was back on June 10th. As now Edwin DeLeon takes ball one. A lot of similar faces in this lineup than what we saw back on game 1. With the exception of the man at the plate, DeLeon, who did not get the start. He hits a ground ball to first base. Caffarella gets the out there. He throws down to second looking for the double play, but sliding in safely was Barton. That one was hit hard on the ground right to first base. A good job by Caffarella to make sure he got that out at first base. It took away a force play at second, and Barton was able to slide in safely. So 3 unassisted on the out of DeLeon, 1 down in the inning, a runner in scoring position. Now for Brady Ravenel, the center fielder. Takes a fastball on the outside edge for a called strike 1. Ravenel, one of the longest tenured members of this Post 109 club. Collected 1 hit in 4 at-bats against Milford back on the 10th. Did have a run scored. He struck out. He was also hit by a pitch. Kevin Valentine, a right-handed pitcher, delivers a fastball outside. Righty pitcher versus righty batter with one out and a runner at second base. And this pitch hit in the air out to right field towards the line. Over is the second baseman, Espinette, just at the edge of fair territory. Espinette makes the catch. A tricky spot with Blake Hill, the right fielder, playing deep, but Espinette with good speed getting out onto the outfield grass to make the catch. 2 down, the runner remains at second now for Ian Weatherby, the third baseman. And before he sees a pitch, Tyler Monahan will head out to the pitcher's mound for a quick visit. Defensively for Milford, Tyler Monahan behind the plate with Andrew McMillan at third, Matt DeCina at short, Brian Espinette at second, and Mike Caffarella at first. Left to right in the outfield, Kyle Nocera, Kevin Lynch, and Blake Hill. Just a quick word exchanged between Monahan and Valentine. And now the first pitch into Weatherby is hit on the ground to short. DeCina makes the play and makes a good throw to first base. He had the runner moving to third base, shielding him at first, but DeCina stayed with it, made a good play, and that ends the inning. Valentine able to pitch around that leadoff single, and Sturbridge cannot score here in the top of the first inning. Milford Post 59 will take their first swings of the game when we come back next here on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on First Class Radio. An 8-pitch top of the first inning for Kevin Valentine. He allowed a first pitch single to the leadoff hitter Mark Barton, but was able to get 3 quick outs from there. And the Milford offense now about to stand in. Matt DeCina, as usual, the team's leadoff hitter, ready to get it started against Nate Healy, a right-handed starter for Sturbridge. And Matt DeCina bringing a .462 batting average into play here this evening. He's been off to an excellent start. Was on base 3 times against Northbridge back on Saturday, a couple of singles and also a walk. He scored 2 of the 3 runs that Milford produced. And he quickly finds himself ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. The windup and the pitch, that is up and away. Milford happy not to be facing Dan Gilligan as they did back on the season opener, who pitched a complete game effort against Milford, allowing a total of 3 runs. As DeCina works a 4-pitch walk to get things started here in the bottom of the first.
Now batting second baseman, Brian.
Introduces the speed element on the bases. Matt DeCina always commanding a heavy bit of attention when he is on the bases. He jumps out to a lead at first as Brian Espinette now stands in. Back-to-back lefties atop this lineup. And there is the first strike thrown from Healy. Brian Espinette has done nothing but hit since he has been in the lineup these last 3 games. Batting an even .500 through those 3 games. 5 hits in 10 at-bats. An even count of 1 ball and 1 strike on Espinette. He has 1 double. He already has 3 runs batted in his first 3 games. He's walked once. He has yet to strike out. The 1-1 pitch, it's a swing and a miss. Milford once again wearing their new home jerseys. The 3rd game in which they've featured their new white uniform top. Here is the 1-2 pitch. A narrow miss from Healy, and the count evens once again at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Sturbridge a 2-7 overall record. Percentage points below Milford in the Zone 4 standings as Healy gets a swing and a miss from Espinette for strike 3. So no strikeouts through the first 3 games for Espinette, and there is The first K for number 15. He heads back to the dugout. One down now for Andrew McMillan. DeCina remains at first base, out to a big lead. It catches the attention of Nate Healy. He throws over in that direction. Andrew McMillan awaiting his first pitch of the night, batting .304, 7 hits in 23 at-bats. A double, a triple, and a single RBI for McMillan as there goes DeCina for second base. A good throw from the catcher, but not in time. A very close play at second base. An excellent throw from Matt Dowling behind the plate. It made it very close, but DeCina swipes the bag. The pitch was a strike into McMillan, who bats now with a runner in scoring position. It's the second stolen base of the year for DeCina. And now a pitch misses high to McMillan, evening the count at 1. An opportunity for Milford to bat with a runner in scoring position, a situation in which they have struggled in through these first 8 games. McMillan sending a soft ground ball to second base, fielded by Dean Moore, and he throws to first base for the out there. It does move the runner along to third base, now with 2 outs in the inning. And a chance for Kevin Valentine to help himself out, Milford's starting pitcher. Also batting out of the cleanup spot, batting here with a runner at third base. Kevin Valentine has been an absolute on-base machine since he has been inserted into the lineup. 3 games now for Valentine. Batting .333, he has 2 hits, but he has worked 5 walks through those 3 games. Count of 1 ball and 1 strike on Valentine with 2 outs. And DeCina at third. Valentine in on the left side. Here's the 1-1 pitch. It's sent foul off to the left. Valentine, a left-handed batter, but a right-handed pitcher. Up there with a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs in the inning. DeCina a lead in foul territory off of third base. Here is the pitch, and it just misses off the outside edge. A close pitch. 2-2 now the count. Kyle Nocera waits on deck, hoping for a chance. The set by Healy. Here's the pitch, and that's in for a called strike 3. Lingering in the batter's box for a moment was Valentine. Now he retreats. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Nate Healy, and Milford strands a runner in the bottom of the first inning. Through with 1 inning now from Pheno Field. Scoreless between Milford and Sturbridge here on your home for Milford Legion Baseball, WMRC First Class Radio. Back here on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on First Class Radio, I am Tim Coet, Craig D'Alessandro back in our WMRC studios. Milford Post 59 taking on Sturbridge Post 109, neither team scoring in the first inning. And Sturbridge will now bring batters 5, 6, and 7 to the plate against Kevin Valentine, striking out with a runner at third base to end the first inning. Jack Sullivan, the first baseman, the first Sturbridge batter of the inning, and he looks at a called strike 1. A long look in from Valentine to his battery mate Tyler Monahan. Now the 0-1 pitch, it misses away. Jack Sullivan had a very good day against Milford pitching back on June 10th. A 3-for-3 game. He had a pair of singles, a triple, a run batted in, and a run scored. Hits one on the ground to shortstop. Waiting on the high hop was DeCina, and a strong throw over to Caffarella at first. And Sullivan is out number 1 here in the second.
Now batting, number 26, Cody Murphy.
Cody Murphy, the right fielder, now about to work. Tonight's game also being covered by Milford TV, so you can see and hear this game over on Milford TV's educational channel in just a few days from now. First pitch into Murphy is strike one. Now this pitch is hit high in the air out to left field. Tough time picking it up for Nocera, but he gets there and makes the catch. These early innings on these 7 o'clock starts here at this time of year makes for a very tough sky in left field, with the sun still streaming fully out there on the left field grass. But Nocera able to make the catch on that fly ball. The first two batters retired here in the top of the second. And now Matt Dowling, the catcher, in on the right side for Sturbridge, takes the first pitch for a ball. It popped out of the glove of Monahan. I think that made the pitch look worse than it was, as this pitch is rifled off the end of the bat, foul right to the Pheno Field concession stand. That one nearly going right in the concession stand window. A 1 ball, 1 strike count. Here's the pitch. It's a breaking ball that stays high. Brings the count to 2-1. The bases are empty here in the top of the second inning. 2 down. Valentine looking for that 1-2-3 inning. Here's the pitch. Another foul ball off to the right. This one clearing the concession stand. Spectators having to stay on their toes down there as they wait in line for refreshments. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the inning. A light breeze blowing from right to left across Pheno Field. Here's the pitch. It is swung on and missed. A low pitch held on to by Monahan. It is the first strikeout in the game for Kevin Valentine. A 1-2-3 inning here in the second. Right onto the home half of the inning we go. Still scoreless between Milford and Sturbridge. You are listening to coverage of Milford Legion Baseball here on First Class Radio, also streaming online at WMRCDailyNews.com. Kyle Nocera, Blake Hill, and Tyler Monahan, the 3 batters expected for post 59 in the bottom of the second inning. Milford getting a base runner on a walk in the first inning. They've yet to collect their first base hit. Kyle Nocera swings away at the first pitch from Nate Healy, and he fouls it off out of play. And you guessed it, once again, in front of the Pheno Field concession stand under heavy fire here in the early innings. Kyle Nocera, a righty bat, takes a pitch outside, evening the count at 1-1. Defensively for Sturbridge, it's Matt Dowling behind the plate, Ian Weatherby at third, Mark Barton at short, Dean Morin at second, and Jack Sullivan at first. Left to right in the outfield, Edwin DeLeon, Brady Ravenel, and Cody Murphy. All in support of their starting pitcher, Nate Healy, who works now with a count of 2 balls and 1 strike on Kyle Nocera. Next pitch on the way. It is on the inside corner for a called strike 2. Shaking off the first sign is Healy. Now he has one he likes. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and misses down and away, skips away from the catcher. And it's now a full count on Nocera. Kyle Nocera batting .316. He has 3 hits in 19 at-bats, 1 extra base hit. It was a double. 4 runs batted in. He's walked 4 times and struck out 3 times. Here comes the payoff pitch, and it's lifted in the air. Shallow out to right field. Trouble as the first baseman, second baseman, and right fielder all converge. It's the second baseman, Dean Morin, who went into the slide to make the catch. That one looked like it might drop, but a nice play out of the Sturbridge second baseman. That's the second time we've seen a rangy play out of a second baseman. Heading to the outfield, Espinette, and now Dean Morin on the Sturbridge side. Nocera is out number 1 in this bottom of the second inning, and now here's Blake Hill. Hill takes the first pitch from Healy high for ball 1. Back into the windup goes Nate Healy. Here's the pitch. This is popped straight up, right around the plate. The catcher gives way to the pitcher, Healy, who makes the catch. Pitcher fielding his position.
Now batting the catcher, Tyler.
And 2 pop-ups for Milford bring the first 2 outs quickly here in the bottom of the second, and now it's up to Tyler Monahan. Monahan just 2 hits in this early part of the season. Swings at the first one, hits it hard on the ground to second, but it kicks off the heel of the second baseman Morin. Ricochets all the way behind the second base bag, and Monahan will reach. That ball scooted right underneath the glove of Morin. Ricocheted hard off of the left foot of the second baseman, Dean Morin, and rolled a good ways away. And E4 allows the inning to continue and give Mike Caffarella a chance. And Caffarella takes the first pitch away for ball 1. Michael Caffarella now appearing in his 5th game. He has been used sparingly through these first 8 games of the season as he looks at a called strike 1. This is Caffarella's 7th at bat on the year, batting .333. Here's the 1-1 pitch. It's another ground ball to second base, a sliding play made by Morin. He flips to second base for the force play that ends the inning. So after the miscue, Morin able to atone by making a nice sliding play and getting the force out at second base to end the inning. Milford strands their second base runner of the game, and through 2 innings of play, it remains scoreless between Milford Post 59 and Sturbridge Post 109 here on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on First Class Radio. Back here at Pheno Field in Milford, Massachusetts, as Post 59 and Sturbridge Post 109 battle it out for the 2nd time this season. Neither side able to collect a run through the first 2 innings, so scoreless heading into the top of the 3rd. And taking a quick look at the updated standings around Zone 4. The same 2 teams continue to lead the way in the zone. That is Framingham and Northbridge. Both teams now with a single loss on the season. Northbridge able to improve to 6-0 after their win against Milford on Saturday, but since then have lost a game. So both teams with identical 7-1 records, they lead the way. Leominster at 5-2. Those are your top 3 in the zone. More standing updates later on in the inning as the number 8 hitter, Andy Berg, steps in for Sturbridge, takes the first pitch for a strike. Now a swing and a miss. The fastball gets by Berg for strike 2. Coach DeVito telling us before the game, expect a good live arm out of Kevin Valentine, throwing in the high 80s as this pitch is lined up and over the backstop. And out of play, it stays an 0-2 count. In 4th place in the Zone 4 standings right now with a record of 3-2 is Grafton Hill. North County in 5th place at 4-3. Everyone else in the zone right now at 500 or below. As that pitch is on the outside corner for a called strike 3. A nice pitch from Valentine. He struck out the last 2 batters he's faced. Gets the first out here in the 3rd, and now down to the number 9 spot and the second baseman, Dean Morin. Wachusett and Shrewsbury currently with identical 3-3 records. They fill out the 6th and 7th place spots in the standings. So those are your playoff spots if you're starting to look at such things already. An 0-1 count now on Dean Morin. The pitch on the inside corner for a called strike 2. Valentine getting the sign from Monahan. Monahan sets up outside. The pitch a little too far outside. They can't get Morin to chase. Tyler Monahan seeing more and more action behind the plate with Michael Ryan out of service. Coach DeVito very pleased with what he has gotten defensively out of Monahan. After a foul ball, the count stays 1-2. Morin, a righty bat, about to see another 1-2 pitch and an off-balance swing and a miss. Out of the glove momentarily for Monahan, but he completes the out down to first base. 3 straight strikeouts now for Kevin Valentine. 2 outs here in the 3rd inning, and second time through the Sturbridge lineup now is Mark Barton. Barton will step in on the left side. He started off the top of the 1st inning with a single. Right now, the only base runner Sturbridge has had. Barton taking the first pitch for a called strike 1. And now this pitch lined back up the middle. That's going to get through for a base hit, and Barton is 2 for 2. Well, the rest of the lineup struggling to catch up to these pitches out of Kevin Valentine, but Barton not having trouble. 2 trips up to the plate, 2 line drive singles up the middle.
Now batting, number 19, Edwin De Leon.
Breaks up a string of 8 consecutive batters retired by Valentine, and it gives a chance to the left fielder Edwin De Leon, who grounded out to first base in his last at bat. Grounds to first again in fair territory, stabbed by Caffarella. A very nice sprawling play, grabbing that ball before it had a chance to go foul. He taps the first base bag with the glove for the out that ends the inning. And that will do it here in the top of the 3rd. Another stranded base runner for Sturbridge. They've stranded 2 now. And we head on to the bottom half of the 3rd inning, still scoreless. Coverage of Milford Legion Baseball here on First Class Radio. Milford's number 9 batter, Kevin Lynch, will lead things off in the bottom of the 3rd. Just 2 base runners for Milford so far, seeing another good pitching performance out of this Sturbridge staff. Receiving base runners on a leadoff walk in the 1st inning and a 2-out error in the 2nd. That is all. Lynch starting off ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. After this next pitch, we will bring you an update on Red Sox baseball. Kevin Lynch, a line drive up the middle. That is past the second baseman. And there is your first Milford base hit of the night. Kevin Lynch aboard to start the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Over at Fenway Park, it is 2 outs and no outs deep in the top of the 2nd inning. Scoreless between the Orioles and Red Sox, game 2 of that series. We will turn things over to the Red Sox broadcast as soon as we wrap up coverage of Legion baseball this evening. Until then, we will keep you updated on the score between the Sox and the O's as that game goes along. Back up to the top of the Milford lineup now, Matt DeCina, who walked in his last at bat. Takes a pitch inside and low. 2 balls and no strikes, the count on DeCina. A very patient, very disciplined hitter. Walked on 4 pitches in that first at bat. The infield in tight at 3rd base for Sturbridge as that pitch misses outside. 3 balls and no strikes now the count. They play deep up the middle with the first baseman Jack Sullivan holding on the runner Lynch at first. Lynch out to a lead. Here's the 3-0 pitch. That grabs the lower inside corner, bringing the count to 3-1. Tessina no inclination to swing. He digs right back in on the left side. Nate Healy a look over to first base. Now he comes set. Here's the 3-1 pitch. That's up and away for ball 4. And the second walk of the night for Tessina. The first 2 Milford batters have reached here in the third, as Kevin Lynch now moves into scoring position at second base. And a visit between the catcher Matt Dowling and his starter Nate Healy. Before Brian Espinette digs in, Espinette wanders down the third base line for a quick chat with his head coach Steve DeVito. Jim Roseal, the head coach for Sturbridge Post 109. Espinette struck out in his last at bat. Swings at this first pitch. It's a little chopper out towards the mound. Bringing off the mound is Healy. He sends the throw to first base in time to get the out there, but a productive out of Brian Espinette. It moves both runners along. Lynch to third. Tessina down to second, 2 in scoring position with 1 out. And now a chance for the number 3 hitter, Andrew McMillan. McMillan grounded out to second base back in the first inning. And the first pitch into McMillan is a called strike 1. Just 1 RBI so far on the year for McMillan, batting out of this number 3 spot here. He sends a line drive out to right field. That gets down for a hit. Into score comes Kevin Lynch. Here comes Tessina to the plate. The throw is late and sails to the backstop. 2-run score, and now McMillan moves down to second base. It is a 2-run base hit for Andrew McMillan. It breaks the deadlock and gives Milford a 2-0 lead. It'll go as a single for Andrew McMillan. He takes second base on the throw. But 2 big runs driven in for McMillan. He now is in scoring position himself at second base ahead of Kevin Valentine. And a chance for Milford to now build upon this lead. Still 1 out in the inning. Another conference between pitcher and catcher before Valentine's at bat commences. Valentine struck out swinging with a runner at third base to conclude the first. He swings at the first pitch, hits it hard on the ground under the glove of the first baseman. They will wave McMillan to the plate, a double clutch by the right fielder, and there will be no throw through to the plate. An RBI for Valentine, back-to-back run-producing hits from these 3 and 4 batters, and Milford ups the lead to 3-0. Some offense for these Milford fans to cheer for. As now Nocera swings at the first pitch, hits a looping fly ball down just beyond the infield dirt down the right field line. Making the catch was the first baseman Sullivan. Nocera a quick out in number 2. And now the 7th Milford batter will come to the plate in this bottom of the third inning. It's Blake Hill. Valentine remains at first base now with 2 down. He bluffs down the line, doesn't go as Blake Hill takes the pitch for strike 1. Now the runner takes off. The pitch from Healy misses for a ball. The throw from the catcher, 1 hops at second base, and it's a steal for Kevin Valentine. The pitch was a strike. Did not see the arm go up from the umpire, but now says the count is 0-2 with 2 outs in the inning and a runner at second. And the pitch into Blake Hill is off speed, but misses high. Blake Hill with the batting average over 300 at 308. And now too much time taken on the mound. Blake Hill granted time. Blake Hill has yet to come through with a hit on the season with runners in scoring position. This pitch hit on the ground to second base. Waiting for it is Morin. He throws to first base for the out that ends the inning, but a productive inning for the Post 59 offense. 2 runs batted in for McMillan, an RBI for Valentine, and as we head to the top of the 4th, it is now a 3-0 lead for Milford Post 59. Coverage of Milford Legion Baseball here on First Class Radio and streaming online at WMRCDailyNews.com. Kevin Valentine will now have a lead to work with as he takes the mound for the top of the 4th inning, throwing an even 30 pitches through the first 3 frames. And he will face the middle of this Sturbridge order, Brady Ravenel, Ian Weatherby, and Jack Sullivan, the 3, 4, and 5 batters. Milford coming through with some good hitting, collecting 3 runs on 3 hits in that bottom of the 3rd inning. Getting men on base and driving them in. It's not always been an easy task for Milford through their first 8 games. But able to accumulate a 3-0 lead, and the first pitch into Ravenel is strike 1. Now a big swing and a miss. No balls and 2 strikes the count as Valentine mixes up his pitch as well. Here's the 0-2, that stays high. Ravenel, a pop out to shallow right field his first time up. Brian Espinette ranging out to make the catch. Here's another 0-2 pitch. That is a swing and a miss for strike 3. The 4th strikeout now for Kevin Valentine. Kevin Valentine, the ace pitcher for Mount St. Charles Academy in Rhode Island, pitching his high school team to a Rhode Island state championship. Missing the first handful of games for Post 59, but Coach DeVito very excited to have him in the mix in the starting rotation for the rest of the season. And the early returns have been good through these first 3 1/3 innings. Just 2 hits allowed, 4 Ks, no walks. And a 1-ball, 1-strike count to Ian Weatherby, who grounded out to shortstop his last time up. And he hits this one on the ground to DeCina once again. A little trouble for DeCina getting it out of the glove, but gets the throw to Caffarella in time. 6-3 on the out. And 2 are down in the top of the 4th. We mentioned it, Milford coming in 11th place out of the 13 teams in Zone 4 heading into tonight's action, but it is very bunched up in those standings. Milford positioning themselves well to win this game and getting a nice performance out of Valentine here in the top of the 4th as he gets a ground out of Jack Sullivan. First pitch swinging for the out that ends the inning. And it stays a 3-0 lead for Milford as we head to the home half of the 4th inning coverage of Milford Legion Baseball here on First Class Radio. A nice 1-2-3 inning for Valentine. That always important shutdown inning after your offense scores. And now Milford right back up to the bat. Tyler Monahan leads it off and takes a pitch up over the head for ball 1. Monahan reached on an error with 2 outs in the second inning, was stranded at first base. Takes a pitch down low to jump ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. It's been a bit of a struggle offensively for Monahan in the early days of the season, but Coach DeVito, really a lot of confidence in the bat of Monahan, talking about how the ball just really explodes off of his bat when he makes contact, saying he swings the bat looking like he wants to hurt somebody. He's ahead in the count now, 3 balls and no strikes. Here's the pitch. And that's in there for a called strike 1. Monahan up now. Mike Caffarella waits on deck. The 3-1 pitch from Nate Healy. That drops in for a called strike 2. So from 3-0, now the count runs full. We'll update you on the Red Sox game after this next pitch. The windup from Healy, here it is. It's swung on and popped up on the infield. The first baseman takes charge. Jack Sullivan makes the catch. And Monahan is retired for the first out in the inning. They're in the bottom of the second inning right now at Fenway Park. 1 out. It is still scoreless. Baltimore out hitting the Red Sox in the early innings 3-1. As Caffarella steps in with 1 out and the base is empty, he takes a called strike 1. The pitching matchup in that Red Sox game, Bud Norris for the Orioles, Clay Buchholz for the Sox. Trying to even up that series against the Orioles, losing a tough one last night. David Ortiz at the plate as the tying run, but could not come through. And meanwhile, Mike Caffarella down on 3 pitches. He goes down on strikes. It is the 3rd strikeout for Healy. It's his first strikeout since the first inning. And that leaves it up to Kevin Lynch, who got the ball rolling in that 3rd inning rally. Takes the first pitch for ball 1. Lynch, a line drive single. Came around to score on the 2-run single by Andrew McMillan. Now gets into this pitch, sends it in the air out to left field, but tracking it well was Edwin De Leon. Towards the line, he makes the catch for the out. That ends the inning, so a 1-2-3 inning for Nate Healy. And we have completed 4 innings of play now from Pheno Field, and our score currently is Milford 3 and Sturbridge 0 here on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on First Class Radio. 3 runs on 3 hits with no errors for Milford, no runs, 2 hits, and 1 error for Sturbridge. About to begin the top half of the 5th inning. Tim Coet here on the call for Milford Legion Baseball on First Class Radio. And Valentine's first pitch into Cody Murphy is grounded to second base. A low throw from Espinette, and Caffarella cannot dig it out, and Murphy will reach. Espinette had to range far towards the second base bag, but did have time to plant and throw. He just sent it low into the ground, and Caffarella couldn't scoop it. And that will go as an error on Milford, so now the error column evened up. Puts the leadoff man on base. And now a swing and a miss from the catcher, Matt Dowling, for strike 1. It is the first base runner that Sturbridge has had not named Mark Barton. As this pitch is sent foul up over the backstop. Mark Barton supplying the only 2 hits that Sturbridge has in the game tonight out of the top spot in the lineup. Now Cody Murphy reaching on the error to open up the 5th. And now a pickoff check over at first base. Cody Murphy late to react, but he was able to get back to the bag. 41 pitches now in the game for Kevin Valentine, who sends this pitch into Dowling that is fouled away over towards the third base dugout. Occupied by Sturbridge. Sturbridge wearing green jerseys with yellow lettering. No balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. It is sent hard and foul towards the Fino Field parking lot. The field now fully encased in shadow as the sun sets off in the distance. This game now at the 50-minute mark. As this pitch is hit on the ground, right back to the pitcher. Valentine throws to second base. The throw tailing towards the shortstop side of the bag. It had Espinette sprawling to make the play. He was able to get the out at second. That is the ruling of the infield umpire. Sturbridge disagreeing. Coach Roseal out to argue. Fortunately for Milford, Brian Espinette, a lengthy frame out there at second base. He needed every inch to be able to maintain contact with the second base bag. Valentine with eyes on a 1-4-3 double play, but snapped that throw off again towards the shortstop side of the second base bag, but Espinette able to get that force play at second base. So Cody Murphy is erased as Coach Roseal now heads back to the dugout. Matt Dowling reaches at first base on the fielder's choice. Milford able to cut down the lead runner. 1 out now for Andy Berg, who struck out in his last at bat. He sends a looper over the glove of Valentine. That will make its way out into center field.
Now batter, number 4.
Andy Berg able to get a base hit, and that puts runners at first and second base with 1 out, so a big call at second base. Milford able to get that force play. Otherwise, it would at minimum be a bases loaded situation for Sturbridge. As of now, it's runners at first and second base with 1 out for the number 9 hitter, Dean Morin, who sends the first pitch he sees foul. This is the first bit of a rally we have seen out of Sturbridge Post 109 tonight. Here's the 0-1 pitch. It's high. Valentine has had a relatively easy time on the mound. We'll see now how he reacts with 2 runners aboard. Here's his 1-1 pitch. This is hit to second base on a tricky hop for Espinette. He throws to second base for the out there, on to first. And Milford able to complete the 4-6-3 inning-ending double play. So Valentine in a bit of a jam, but the double play is able to cut out any potential rally for Sturbridge. We head to the bottom half of the 5th inning. It remains 3-0 in favor of Milford Post 59. Coverage of Milford Legion baseball here on First Class Radio. A bit of a dicey situation for Milford in the top half of this 5th inning. 2 on with 1 out, but a very nice double play turned at second base by Brian Espinette. The 4-6-3 inning-ending double play. It was a very tricky hop for Espinette. It bounced just before it got to his glove. And now Matt Decina to lead things off here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Sends a ground ball to second base that clanks off the glove of Morin and rolls out into right field. And that should go as the second error of the night for Dean Morin at second base. It's been a bit of a mixed bag defensively for Morin tonight. We've seen some very good plays at second base. We've also seen some sloppy ones. And that play there allows Decina to reach to start the bottom of the 5th. And now here is Brian Espinette. Decina immediately takes off for second base. The pitch is outside. The throw down is not in time. The throw was high. Had it been on the bag, it might have been a closer play. But the shortstop had to reach for it, and that is the second stolen base of the night for Matt Decina in scoring position now with no outs. And a 1-ball, no strike count on Espinette, who is 0 for 2. And he will now be granted time at the plate. A look down to second base for Healy. Now he delivers this ball in. It's a roller up the middle, a sliding play by Morin, but has to just keep it in the glove. He did a good job keeping that ball on the infield. That prevented Decina from scoring, but no chance to get an out anywhere. It will go as an infield single for Espinette. Runners at the corners with nobody out. And now here is Andrew McMillan, who provided Milford their first lead in his last at-bat, delivering a 2-run single out to right field. Batting with runners on again, they'll send a pickoff throw over to first base. Espinette looked like he was not quite expecting the throw. Sprawls back into first base. Espinette now takes off as this pitch is hit on the ground through the right side of the infield for a hit. Around to score comes Decina. Espinette hits second base and moves right on to third. The hit and run executed perfectly by Milford. With Espinette off with the pitch, it sent the second baseman covering the bag. It left a wide open hole on the right side of the infield, and that is exactly where McMillan hit it. He collects his third RBI of the game, and Milford is now up 4-0. Coaching staff for Sturbridge out of the dugout. Just a conversation right now. While we have the chance, we'll bring you another update on the Red Sox. They are through 3 innings now. It remains scoreless. Action at Fenway Park between the Orioles and the Red Sox. As the meeting at the mound breaks up, Nate Healy will remain in the game for at least one more batter. The first 3 Milford batters have reached in the 5th. Decina coming around to score on the RBI single by Decina. And now Andrew McMillan takes off. The throw from the catcher, Dowling, went back to the pitcher as they tried to catch Espinette wandering down the line at third, but Espinette stayed at the bag, and an uncontested steal for McMillan. So now 2 in scoring position. And we'll see now how they handle Kevin Valentine with first base open. It's a 2-ball, no strike count now. As this pitch is hit in the air out to the left center field gap. Ranging over is the left fielder. He drops it. He had it in the glove, but dropped it. A run scores. And safe at third base is Andrew McMillan as the throw went into third base. Edwin De Leon ranged into the gap. He was there, positioned perfectly to make the catch. He had it in the glove and then just let it drop to the turf. Espinette comes around to score. McMillan ends up at third base. That should go as a straight error in the outfield by Edwin De Leon. That's now 3 errors in the game for Sturbridge. A 5-0 lead for Milford. As now Nocera steps in. Nocera takes the first pitch for strike 1. Valentine ended up at second base on that play, so there are 2 in scoring position. And there are still no outs in this inning, so a chance for Milford to really break it open. They've already plated 2 to up the lead to 5. As the church bells chime out 8 o'clock in the evening off in the distance, now an hour into this game between Milford and Sturbridge. And it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count on Kyle Nocera. who is 0 for 2, a pair of pop-outs for the starting left fielder. He sends this pitch on the ground, a tough hop. It eats up Weatherby at third base. Into score comes McMillan. That caught Weatherby partially in the face. Coach DeVito immediately goes over to check on the Sturbridge third baseman. Now, the Sturbridge coaching staff heads out. Really nothing Weatherby could do there. That may have hit on a rock or uneven surface in that infield dirt. It shot straight up. A really tough luck play there for the third baseman, and it looks like they will take Weatherby right out of the game for precautionary reasons. He is leaving the field fully under his own power. He doesn't appear to be all that shaken up, but the coaching staff not taking a chance. And Coach DeVito will follow over into the third base dugout to check on Weatherby further before this game continues. It's now a 6-0 lead for Milford. McMillan scoring on that play, a tough luck error at third base for Ian Weatherby. So that's 3 errors now just in this inning alone. Runners at the corners for Milford. Blake Hill swings at the first pitch. It's a high chopper that's fielded by the pitcher. He throws to second base for the out there. The throw on to first. And that is a double play. Into score from third base is Kevin Valentine. No RBI for Blake Hill on the double play. One to 6-3. So the bases are now empty for Milford with 2 outs. And Tyler Monahan takes the first pitch for ball 1. 2-0 now the count. I've not gotten a look at the uniform number over at third base yet to see who came in for Weatherby, who left due to injury. The 2-0 pitch into Monahan, that's good for strike 1. Nate Healy remains in this game on the pitcher's mound. He's now allowed 7 runs. As this pitch now hits Monahan, breaking ball, it just floated too far inside. It grabbed Monahan off of the 25 on the back of his jersey. He heads down to first base. Now Coach Roseal back out of the Sturbridge dugout. That will be the day. For Nate Healy. We'll see if he remains in the game defensively. It is number 16, Tyler Wade, who takes over at third base for Weatherby. And there will be a pitching change taking place, as it looks like Healy will come fully out of the game. Well, we will step aside here quickly for the pitching change. We will tell you who the relief pitcher is for Sturbridge right on the other side of this commercial break. Milford now opening up a 7-0 lead over Sturbridge. Coverage of Milford Legion Baseball here on First Class Radio. The new pitcher on for Sturbridge Post 109 is Chris Cutroni, number 25. A student at Marianopolis Prep. Had not even heard of that school until this evening.
Number 7, Michael Caparella.
Cutroni takes over for Nate Healy, who pitched the first 4 2/3 innings, allowed 5 runs on 5 hits. Just 3 of those runs were earned. He walked 2 and struck out 3, is responsible for Tyler Monahan at first base. As now Caffarella takes a called strike 1 from Cutroni. And now a hard hit ball out to right center field. That's going to get down for a hit, and it's going to roll deep out in right center field. Coming all the way around from first base is Monahan. He will score on the 2-out RBI double from Caffarella. That ups the Milford lead to 8-0. Caffarella had been 0 for 2, but absolutely roped that pitch out into the gap in right center.
Now batting, number 13, Kevin Lynch.
Allows Monahan to hustle all the way around from first base to score. So now 5 runs scored in this inning alone for Milford. They have really made it hurt. Nate Healy had pitched relatively well heading into this 5th inning. He was not really helped out by his defense through this 5th frame. As now Kevin Lynch sends a little looper out to shallow center field. Ranging in is Brady Ravenel to make the catch for the out. That finally ends the inning, but Milford sends all 9 of their men to the plate in this inning. They score 5 times. And as we head to the 6th inning, it is now an 8-0 lead for Post 59 here on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on First Class Radio. Well, Milford scoring those 5 runs in the 5th inning on the benefit of just 3 hits. They were helped along by 3 miscues in the field by Sturbridge. The only RBIs in the inning credited to Andrew McMillan and Mike Caffarella. As Milford now opens up an 8-0 lead. Kevin Valentine still on the mound for Milford. And this is a ball hit on the ground up the middle. That's going to sneak through for a base hit. And it is once again Mark Barton doing the damage. He is now 3 for 3 with a trio of singles up the middle. He has gotten the best of Kevin Valentine in all 3 of his plate appearances tonight.
Number 31, Brendan Roach.
As now Coach Roseal will go to his bench. Brendan Roach will now bat for Edwin De Leon. Brendan Roach sends one on the ground to shortstop. DeCina throws to second base for the out there. The throw to first in plenty of time. 6-4-3, they turn it. And that is not Matt DeCina at shortstop. We have gotten some defensive changes for Milford, so that double play turned by Brian Espinette, who now is at shortstop. Sending it to second base to Drew Wild now into the game. Completed at first base. Mike Caffarella is still there at first base, so a new combination up the middle as now Brady Ravenel dumps one out into shallow right field for a 2-out single. So 2 hits in this inning for Sturbridge, but the big double play in the middle. It's the second double play that Sturbridge has hit into in the game. We've seen a total of 3 double plays on the night. A 2-out chance for the pinch hitter Tyler Wade, who sends one out to shallow center field. Was the catch made? No. Into the dive went Kevin Lynch, trying to make a dazzling play out there, but just could not get there in time. Grabbed it on a hop. So now the 3rd Sturbridge hit in the inning. Tyler Wade batting for Ian Weatherby. He came in defensively for Weatherby last inning. And now runners at the corners with 2 outs. The double play really helping Valentine out in this inning. He sends the first pitch in to Jack Sullivan, a little bit outside for ball 1. As this pitch is hit in the air foul, it will make its way out of play and into the trees beyond left field. A lot of swinging early in counts for Sturbridge in this 6th inning. They have runners at first and third base. A 1-ball, 1-strike count on Sullivan, who takes the pitch high. Barton led it off with a single. He was erased on the double play. But then back-to-back singles by Ravenel and Wade. And meanwhile, Framingham and Northborough, another game going on around the zone tonight. They are into their 12th inning in a scoreless tie. As the 2-2 pitch into Sullivan dips in low, the runner at first base takes off. No throw from Monahan. And there is ball 4. Sullivan works the walk, and Sturbridge now has the bases loaded. Kevin Valentine getting into a little bit of trouble in the 5th inning, getting a double play to end the inning. Getting into more trouble here in the 6th, and now ball 1 is issued to Cody Murphy. And a chance for Sturbridge to do some damage here as they get a high fly ball out to right field, but Blake Hill is underneath. He makes the catch, and Sturbridge will leave the bases loaded here in the top of the 6th inning. A bit of a tough inning for Valentine, but he escapes with no damage done on the scoreboard to the bottom of the 6th, with the score remaining 8-0 in favor of Milford on this coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on First Class Radio.
Hey, you need to feel
The hit column is now even between these two teams, 6 apiece. But Milford leading where it counts 8-0 over Sturbridge.
Number 12.
Sturbridge collecting 3 hits off of Kevin Valentine in the top of the 6th inning. They loaded the bases. A key double play helping out in the inning, and eventually Valentine able to get out of it as Cody Murphy flew out to right field. So Milford will now bat here in the bottom of the 6th, and it will be Drew Wild batting out of the leadoff spot, as Milford did have a number of defensive changes in the top half of this inning. And Drew takes a pitch high. Wild missing the games against Maine South and Framingham due to a college visit. He was back with the team on Saturday, appeared in a pinch hitting role. Started the team's first 5 games at second base. Brian Espinette getting the start in the last 4, and he has been hot at the plate. Coach DeVito riding it out with Espinette. And it is a 3-ball, 1-strike count now on Drew Wild. Both of the Wild brothers getting the game off here tonight. This 3-1 pitch is hit hard on the ground through the right side of the infield for a base hit. So Wild getting the 7th Milford hit. 2 hits now allowed by Cutroni. Check that, Brennan McCullen now into the game as the 3rd Sturbridge pitcher. Cutroni finishing off last inning, just pitching a 1/3 of an inning in relief. Espinette now at the plate. He sends a pitch hard on the ground up the middle. That's going to get through. Back-to-back base hits to start this bottom of the 6th inning for Post 59. Runners at first and second. And now Andrew McMillan will bat once again out of the number 3 spot. McMullen's first pitch, and this is inside for ball 1. We mentioned Chris Cutroni from Marianapolis Prep, which we did find out during the break is in Thompson, Connecticut. We will leave that for now as this pitch is lined out into right field for a base hit. Coming to the plate is Drew Wild, and he will score Another RBI for Andrew McMillan, now his fourth in the game. And it ups the Milford lead now to 9-0.
Kevin Valentine.
3 straight singles now to start the bottom of the 6th for Milford, and the potential 10th run for Milford now at third base, should that run come home. It would send the fans to an early exit. Kevin Valentine will take his at-bat with nobody out in the inning, runners at the corners. Two balls and no strikes the count. Espinette at third base with McMillan at first. Kevin Valentine reached on an error and scored a run last inning. Officially in the game, 1 for 3. He came through with an RBI single as part of Milford's 3-run third inning. Here's the 3-0 pitch. That's in for a strike. Had Valentine taking all the way. The next pitch in from McMullen is chopped on the ground, foul, rolling over towards the Milford dugout. It is scooped up barehanded by Matt DeCina, who fires it right back to the pitcher. DeCina a spectator for the remainder of this game. Here's the 3-0 pitch. It's high for ball 4. The base is now loaded for Milford, and we'll see another pinch hitter as the younger Wild brother, Aiden, will come up to bat in the place of Kyle Nocera. So both Wild brothers getting the night off to start, but both making pinch hitting appearances here in the inning. Drew Wild starting things off with a single, coming around to score a run in this inning. And now Aiden Wild batting with the bases full. He takes a called strike. And now timeout is granted as we will see a pinch runner. It will be Michael Farrell who will take over at first base for Kevin Valentine. So Valentine's Day is now complete as this pitch is sent in on the ground. And it brings the count to 2 balls and 1 strike to Aiden Wild. In on the right side, here is the pitch. This is hit hard on the ground. That's down the left field line for a hit. Around to score comes Brian Espinette. Around from second base comes Andrew McMillan to score, and it makes it an even 11-0 lead for Milford, and now both teams will spill out of their respective dugouts, as that will be the game's final play. It goes as a 2-run single for Aiden Wild, as both Espinette and McMillan came around to score, and mercy rules coming into apply. Milford now with 3 victories on the season, and all 3 have come by way of mercy rule victories. So it really has been feast or famine for the offense, but they feasted tonight on the Sturbridge pitching, notching 11 runs in the victory, defeating Post 109 by a final score of 11-0.